feel like a parent who's watching their child run to the road. And you holler at them and you're encouraging them, you're trying to get them to stop. And they may stop and look at you or turn around and look at you. They hear you, but they're not listening. And the more you holler and scream, the faster they run to the road. Where you're standing, you can see them running. You can see the car barreling down the road. And you know that you're not going to be able to get to them in time to stop them. So the closer they get to the road, the more hysterical you become. The louder you scream, the more you cuss. The child stops looking at you and keeps running faster to the road. And all along, there's people standing around you watching and listening. And they may see the danger, but they're offended because of your actions. They're offended by your words. And the more you scream, the more hysterical you become, the more people start attacking you, and they stop listening to you, and they condemn you. That's exactly how I feel with this COVID shot. The more truth I give, the more attacks from others. And I get this daily. Oh, that's so offensive. Dana, why would you use those words? What do you mean? What words am I using that's offensive? The truth? You're offended by the truth. I feel like I'm trying to save everybody by giving them truthful information. And I feel that most people should have enough common sense to hear the truth and be able to see what's the truth and what is the lie. But yet, the more I try to explain, the more people turn away and run straight to their impending death and certain doom. It's like the counterfeit officer. Counterfeit officers, they go and they study real currency. They don't study fake currency. They go to school. They're taught by the best. They know what real currency looks like. They do this so that when they see a fake, they identify it right away. They don't even have to pick up the bill to inspect it, to feel it, to smell it, to look at it. Just by glancing at it, they know that's a fake. And they want nothing to do with it. I've watched counterfeit officers at the bank look through bills. And when they see a fake one, they don't even touch it. They want nothing to do with it. And that's how I feel about the COVID shot. You should be studying what's true. And we know the only thing that's true in our life is God. God is the only truth we have. We should be studying God so closely. We should have such a close walk with God that when we see a fake, when we see a lie, when we see something that's not true, we identify it right away. And we shouldn't have anything to do with what's fake. I hear people say, well, I had to get this shot because I had to protect my loved ones. I want to say, that's a lie. That's a lie. You got this shot out of fear. And fear is not of God. See, I feel like we're also forgetting history. Maybe we've never been taught history. Nazi Germany. You know, the Jews didn't just one day get ripped out of their homes and taken to camps and then burned. He didn't. It was a series of things, events that happened in time. It started out with planting seeds of fear. Racial hygiene. Sound familiar? Nazi Germany. I can't say the name of this person because I'll be banned. So we'll just say Nazi Germany. You know who I'm talking about. Racial hygiene. See, it was said that there was a gene that people had inside their body because of their race. And this gene made you sick. That it might not kill you, but it would make your family and your loved ones ill. Might even kill them. So the only way to know you had this gene was to be tested, because you had to know. So they started testing people. And of course they used common things like illnesses to prove that this was true. There is a gene that's making people sick. And people would die. And in the minds of other people, they saw this and they said, oh, well, it's true. There is a gene that's making people sick and they're dying. So then they ran to get the cure. They ran to get the cure, thinking and believing and trusting that this cure would keep them from infecting their loved ones. And then it went to this is voluntary, to this is mandatory. And one person, whom I can't mention his name because I'll get banned, one person wasn't responsible for the destruction. He just started the seed of lies, the seed of doubt, the seed of fear. And then it became businesses wouldn't allow you in unless you had this card that proved that you did not have this gene. And then it was people wouldn't shop at stores unless there was this card that you had that proved that you were a safe zone. Your business was pure. You could come and shop in our store without fear of being infected. You wouldn't be exposed to it and take it home to your loved ones. And then it became mandatory. And then it became enforced by the government. People lost their jobs. People couldn't buy, sell, or trade without this card. And then eventually, the people that didn't get the cure, they were so beat up and discouraged because they saw everybody else going and getting it. They knew it wasn't any good. They knew it wasn't right, but they did it. Their loved ones went and got this shot anyway. And they had no other choice. No other choice. And so they marched themselves in to these camps willfully. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I bet you there were some Jewish people at that time that wished that more people stood up against this. That helped and encouraged them to be strong. You know, Satan, he's really a one-trick pony. He only has one lie, and he uses it over and over and over. See, there's nothing new under the sun. There's no new sins. There's no new evilness. Evilness in the Garden of Eden is the same evilness today, and the same lies that's told, fear and deceit. And if we don't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. We're doomed to repeat it. And the lies that we're living by today are that there is a virus inside of us that We don't know if we've got it, but we can be infecting our loved ones. And we don't even know it. The only way to ensure that you protect your family is to go out and get the jab, get the shot. I mean, if we looked at history and if we looked at science, by the way, we would see that history and science tells us that no shot keeps us from getting ill, from getting sick. If it did, most certainly we would be seeing fewer numbers of people getting sick than we are today. No, in all actuality, there's probably more people getting sick today than a year ago. I encourage you all to learn history, know it, study it, because there's nothing new under the sun. History repeats itself over and over. Sadly, I think that's where we're at. We've taken down monuments, we've burned history books. We've got schools not teaching history because it's offensive. By all means, we don't want to offend anyone. I think today we need to be more offended. We need to be offended by evilness that needs to be offensive to us. Things we hear, things we see, things that we are participating in or not participating in, we need to be offended by it. I think that's where we're at. Everyone is so desensitized. How do you cook a frog, you ask? Well, if you throw it in hot water right away, it's going to jump right out. But if you throw a frog in nice cool water and slowly turn the heat up, you'll cook a frog. Let's not be frogs. Let's get our minds that God gave us and study history. Study the truth. Know it. So when you see the counterfeit, you know it right away. Anything that is using fear to get you to do something is not of God. Remember that. Fear is not of God.